Okay, let's stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to Hubbard County Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is an oath for our newly elected commissioner.
Good morning. You do solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that you will discharge faithfully the duties of the office of Hubbard County Commissioner in the County of Hubbard, the State of Minnesota, to the best of your judgment and abilities.
I will.
Sorry.
That's right.
Here, Jeff, do you want to stand along with him?
Nope.
He's on his own now.
On his own. Right back to that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good. Let's do one more and get a little closer, actually, yeah.
Jennifer, would you like to come up and have a picture with your husband?
Oh, good idea.
Shannon, would you wait just a moment, and his wife will
Yes.
as well.
This side or that side?
This side is just fine.
This side?
Mm-hmm. Just 1 second, Shannon.
Oh, sure, no problem.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that looks nice. Yeah, that looks good, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Oh. There we go. Thank you. Congratulations. And that's, the painful part is done.
Yes.
Hey. Well, welcome to the board, Commissioner Kearney.
Thank you.
Yep.
No speech? No, I don't have a speech. I have been looking forward to this day since February 13th when I filed for election. So I appreciate the support from the constituents of District 4, and let's get to work.
Okay. All right, next item, agenda approval. Any changes?
Just the ones that Denise got to you ahead of the meeting. There was the addition of the
Sheriff's?
sheriff's grant, which I think is, yeah, it's in the current copy as item 9B.
Yep, 9B. Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda with that addition?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes. Public input? There being none, close public input. And we have consent agenda. Any items for discussion or to be polled?
I'll just make a note. I already talked to Kay on this. There was a payment to HLDC for $36,000, and so half of that should go into the HRDC. So HLDC will refund $18,000, and Kay will send HRDC $18,000 since there was a change for the HRA import.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we need a motion.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent agenda passes. We have a county employee recognition in the county attorney's office. We have Benjamin Denton. He's assistant county attorney, began full-time position on August 14th. There he is. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. And in highway, we have Ethan Ansting, Engineering Technician 3 is recognized for service from June 3rd, 2013 to August 1st, 2023. And then John May, Maintenance 2, began full-time position on July 31st. In the Sheriff's Department, we have Johanna Gilbertson, Administrative Assistant, began full-time full-time position on August 9, 2023. And Social Services, Sky Blue Dietmers, family-based service provider, began full-time position on August 1st. And Nicholas Johnson, Transit Supervisor, is recognized for service from November 11th, 2021 to August 11th, 2023. And in Solid Waste, we have Christina Hill, MPCA Green Corps member, is recognized for her volunteer service from September 19th through 2023 through August 15th, 2023. And now I believe she's a part-time full employee of the county.
That process isn't complete yet.
Not complete yet? Okay, coming up though. And that's all for that. We welcome all those who are new. And,
Mr. Chair, did you do public comment?
yes, we did.
Okay.
And none of these are here, so we can't hand those out. Okay. Move on to facilities.
Good morning, everyone,
Morning.
and welcome, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Been a long time since you were here.
That could be good and bad. I'm going to go with the good. Just coming in to make sure I get approval to take care of our parking lots again this time. They're needed again. I can't wait. Make them all look beautiful and enhance our facility. We have received 2 quotes. Nest Seal Coat was the company who did it last time around. And then a new person, TNC Seal Coat, they provided a bid as well. Not sure exactly the cost differences between the two. The Nest Seal Coat does show an increase over their last time. But being TNC's new, I have no prior experience with them as far as their services and stuff. I know they've done a few places around town, but that's about all I know from them.
Does this bid include painting the lines again?
Yes, both of these companies do the pavement markings after they do the seal coat, sealing and all that stuff. Howard's found out they don't do striping. They will do the seal coating, but they do not do striping. And to find individual striping contractors between here, the Bemidji area and stuff like that, none of them were provided any input.
When I was reviewing the bids, I guess, Jeff, could you scroll down a little bit? I noticed there was a little difference in one of the parking lots for sure, that most of them included the Seal Triton Supreme asphalt base sealer with the sand additive, and there was one parking lot that did not have that listed in there. It was just seal coating and striping. Is there a reason for it, or?
Not sure. Sometimes they just, the gentleman, he did tell me that he had issues with his email, so a lot of the stuff got lost. So he's probably going off of previous stuff. They usually are all the same. There's really only two areas that do not get striped. That's in front of the garages out back and the radio tower. Those 2 areas don't get striped. Everything else will get striped. Working with the sheriff, we're going to modify the striping in front of the law enforcement center this year. We're going to create a flow pattern, which seems to be more of instead of a straight in parking for the squad cars, it's going to be more of a diagonal, so they'll be able to approach from one way and exit the other to kind of maybe expedite when they have to respond to emergencies and so forth. So that'll be a new change for that one section of the parking lot, but otherwise everything else will be striped the same.
So being this was the same company last year, were you happy with the results?
Yes. I felt they did a real good job last year, or last time they did it, so.
Okay. Any other questions? You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the Ness Seal Coat, bid number 1.
I'll second.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks. And then we have Jeff with technology.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Up here a lot. So today, we're just looking for approval for the new SharePoint. It'll be the Hubbard County internal internet, with the internet for, it'll be our way of communicating between departments and throughout the county here within, and looking at getting that set up and going. So looking at approval, we had 2 bids. We did have a third company that wanted to, before they bid, they wanted to kind of, it would have been a cost to actually have them look over, they wanted to look over our network and stuff like that and kind of see what it all entailed and stuff before they would give a bid. And it was a company that, so we did kind of have like 3 bids or whatever on it, but the 2 bids are both Nexus and Sky North. Nexus came in about $6,000 more, you know, a little bit more expensive than Sky North. Sky North actually brings some pretty good, the 2 guys that kind of headed that up and stuff out there both come from Microsoft, so they have a lot of knowledge and stuff of setting up the SharePoint website and that. So just excited to kind of get that up and going and looking for approval today.
I noticed on your 6265 account that it's at 108% right now. So you will have the room elsewhere?
Yeah, actually, Maria over in, she had budgeted like 30,000 for part in that same thing for the Tyler, which we ended up spending, we just absorbed into our account on that. We had a budget for it, and so did she. So we're going to, she's gonna actually, she'll end up, that'll kind of get adjusted there. So 18,400, whatever, she's gonna absorb that into her budget for that there.
Okay.
So they were, I guess they were supposed to split the something on the Tyler budget. They were gonna kind of take part of that there. So in doing that, that's, kind of looking back, it looks like, I don't know how Rob and her kind of had it and stuff like that there, but she had like 30-some thousand allocated for that. And so we ended up, we had already absorbed it into ours. So, cause we had it budgeted for it too. So, we're gonna use, basically half of that cost will end up going over onto her budget,
Oh, okay.
or 30,000 of it will.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 18,400 will.
18,450.
Yeah. And
Okay. Any,
I'll move to approve the low bid.
I'll second.
any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it passes.
thank you.
Natural resource, Cody?
Morning.
Morning.
Just one thing on my agenda report today. Itasca Mantrap is looking for a right-of-way easement for about 80 feet to cross under a very skinny parcel of tax forfeit land northwest of Akeley. It's actually a township road, but it's 277th Avenue. It's Township Road, and it's actually, the parcel's owned by tax forfeit land, or the county, so they're just looking for a right-of-way easement to cross under that road to a new house that's being constructed. It's about 80 feet, so it's not very far, but it is coming from an existing corridor line, so.
Does the township have any issue with it?
Nope, so they've done it along this whole road in the past to the different landowners. So it'd just be adding another underground line from the existing corridor.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right.
Thank you. And just to let Jeff know, it does need to be printed on legal size paper when you do print it. So.
We need to have a vote first. Any more discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Thank you.
Now we got it. Forgot on us there.
Have a good week.
You too. All right, sheriffs.
First of all, congratulations to our newest commissioner.
Thank you.
Very good. I have two items on my agenda. First of all, review and approve the quote for the purchase of a new speed monitor trailer. As you know, you've seen these sitting around the county at different times. The one we currently have is getting in, very poor shape. And we actually had donations specific to this project. Wolf Lake, I think it's the baseball club, and the Hubbard County Posse both teamed up and they donated the money for this, for the new speed trailer. So I got two quotes, as you can see. I would recommend that we purchase the low quote from MPH Industries for the price of $11,844. And you'll continue to see this, on different county roads and state highways in different spots throughout the county. And it'll give us an opportunity to have two until the old one gives out. But it's a very useful tool that we have. And we, like I say, we bounce it around in different problem spots, so.
How many units do we have now?
This would be the second one. We have one, it's old. It's probably 20 years old, so it's rusty and getting in tough shape, so.
Is that the one that's sitting on 33 all the time?
Nope, that's a permanent mount there, yeah. I think we currently have it. We had it over in Akeley, on kind of one of the unofficial detours over there, where people were driving, I think, on County Road 23, and I think now it's over by Nevis right now, so, yeah, we bounce it around. You'll see it in different spots. Yeah.
Any more questions?
I'll move to approve since it's requested donation item and coming
Yep.
out of donation funds.
Yep.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes.
Okay, the second item I have, as you know, we currently have a DUI traffic safety officer through a grant from the state of Minnesota. That's coming up for renewal, and the grant totally covers the officer's wages and benefits, and the current one would be $99,373.01. That starts in October, so we're looking for a resolution and approval of the 2024 DWI Traffic Safety Grant.
What happens if you stop somebody for under the influence of marijuana? How will you handle the testing on that?
It would be the same way, they have field sobriety testing, and then it would amount to a blood or a urine test. Yep, and they do it now, there's, even prior to any of the existing laws, there's been DUIs handed out for, not only meth usage, but marijuana as well, absolutely. So it would be no different than what we currently do. And this position has been, I can't stress how valuable it has been and how successful it's been. There's been more DUI impaired drivers taken off the roads than any of our surrounding counties. And it's been very, very successful. So very proud to have it.
Is this a continuation of a grant?
Yep, we had it last year, and this is renewing it for another
Oh,
year.
okay.
Yep,
Oh, that was one of my questions, is that, yeah, so till next year, there's a chance of renewing again?
yep,
Okay.
yep. As long as we want it, we would keep applying, and as long as you have good statistics, I see no reason why it would go away. And the two different officers that we've had on it now have both been very, very good.
Guess we approved one earlier in the year for a 3-year grant, I think it was, and then we didn't know if that was gonna be,
Yeah, that might have been the TZD grant,
Yeah.
possibly, but this is a year-to-year thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that answers the big question for me.
Yeah, it could be
Okay.
the same funding source, I'm not sure, but this is separate, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Are the amount of DUI occurrences slowing down at all?
No, they're still there. I know, I'll just give you a comparison, for the first half of the year, Hubbard County, I think we had 165 DUI arrests, and that was more than any of our surrounding counties. In fact, for the entire state of Minnesota, I believe we were 13th in the entire state. That includes Minneapolis PD, that includes every agency out there, Like I say, the share, even a closer comparison, from, our department to, let's say, Park Rapids, we had 165, and I believe they had 9 for all of their officers for half the year. And we, like I say, it's, your officers are, they take impaired driving very serious.
Is a lot of it repeat, or are they
Yeah.
mostly different?
No, there's been plenty of repeat. And that shows you, it kind of goes to why the jail population is high. Those are not first-time offenders. Those are repeat offenders. Those are people that are on probation, and then they get another DUI. Those are people with felony-level DUIs, so they are being held in jail, absolutely. First-time offenders, no. Yeah, there's plenty of them out there, there are, but those are not the people that you're seeing in jail, on our jail and custody roster.
So is there any type of recovery programs offered in the jail?
Oh, yeah, the Hubbard County, our jail offers plenty of programming, which is AA, and there's different, yeah, absolutely, we do.
So I was at Action Park Rapids on Thursday, and there was a lady there from Essentia. Essentia now is working with people that have addiction problems. Would I contact Joe to see if that's something that's available in the jail, to connect with Essentia when they get out?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, because they were interested in working with anyone that was in.
Yeah, I'm certainly would not be opposed to that. I do
Okay.
know that the current resources that are offered do offer help once they get out as well.
Okay.
But absolutely, reach out to them, and the more the better, absolutely.
I just want to add to this, because I had a conversation Wednesday last week with a former county attorney and district judge, and I asked him about drug court, and he said it works fantastic. He said recidivism drops drastically, so you don't have those multiple offenders coming in on a steady basis.
Right?
So, I mean, if we've got this big of a problem
We
with
just had
DUIs
this
in this county,
discussion.
we need to do something.
I
We
will
need to
tell
do
you
something
this.
differently.
I do think it will be successful. I've said from day one I will support it, but you still will have
Yeah.
a lot of repeat, because a lot of people that we're seeing would not qualify for DUI or drug court.
Right.
You
But you
know,
might
wouldn't.
prevent a lot of the
Absolutely.
second-time offenders.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was looking forward to it, if it ever gets approved.
Yeah.
If someone's willing to take it on, we are certainly willing to, support it and do our part. In what it entails, it's very, if you want to say, it's testing, real frequent testing. So these people know that in lieu of having to sit in jail, I will get to be home, but I know someone's gonna be knocking on my door. It's gonna be an officer, because it's the officers who do the
Yeah.
testing, multiple times a week is what it is. So they know right there that,
And isn't it even more than that? I mean, it's kind of mentorship and
oh,
guidance.
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's a program that you,
Absolutely, yep. I don't know exactly what's entailed, I just know what our part would be. But yeah, it's very successful, and the counties that do it, do like it.
So we had this very discussion at Park Rapids, Action Park Rapids on Thursday. But unless we have the judge on board, we can't move forward, isn't that correct? That was pretty much the conversation that took place on Thursday.
Correct, that's been the holdup, yes. We have to have a judge that is willing to take it on.
the other thing the individual told me too is, the reservation leadership got heavily involved over in Cass County on this too, and it made a substantial difference for them also. And the total buy-in, once they saw how it would work, and he said this judge said it made a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no doubt.
So Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes.
All right, thank you, that's all I have, unless the board has any questions. Okay, thank you.
All right, finance.
Good morning, Commissioners,
Morning.
and welcome Commissioner Kiernan.
Thank you.
I have one order of business, and that is to upgrade the purchase of our iPads that are used for electronic registration and in-person precincts during elections. We first started using these electronic poll pads, I believe it was 2018. And so they are at end of life with support. I am asking now to upgrade to a Generation 9. If we wait until Generation 10 comes out in 2024, there'll be another $130 per iPad. And I don't think it's enough to really just warrant waiting. The value there is, I don't think adequate enough for us to wait and spend another $130. So I'm asking for these now. I'm also saving us $135 by reusing the old cases. I think we can get some glue and an X-Acto knife and redo the foam. And with a little bit of work, we can just save that money. And so I'm asking for this now to upgrade.
So Kay, the upgrade in 2024, what you're doing right now will cover what the new upgrade will be? Or will you have to come back at some point and say, I need to upgrade
I
this?
think the lifespan of these is about 6 years. I
Okay,
would
so the
like them-
2024 would be 6 years also?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like them to last longer, but unfortunately, it's a product where the support is just, I think that's about the lifespan of these. We only use them in, I believe, 6 of our largest precincts, but it does help greatly with our election administration, with the registration of those in-person voters, registration and when they go in to vote. So that makes the process a lot easier when we post the voter history after the election. It's almost an instant upload of that data, and that saves us a lot of time after the election. And
I've
having
watched
that.
them at my precinct, and it's pretty slick. It's fast.
Yeah, I did query the election judges that use these in the precincts, and they wanted them. I told them we probably weren't going to get new ones. We would go back to paper, and they all voiced disappointment. And so that's what made me look into these and to continue that service.
Did you say it would be $600 more per iPad? What did you say?
$130
Per iPad?
per iPad if we wait until 2024.
That's one of the questions I had was, after a special election, do we still have any money left in elections account?
Well, the special election was not budgeted for.
Yeah, we still had to pay for it.
I'm sorry?
We still had to pay for it, so.
We still had to pay for it. We don't have all of those costs. I think administering an in-house, administering it by a mail ballot election saved the county quite a few dollars. I don't have a dollar amount. But because we did not have to pay those in-person precincts, that would have been on the county. You would have had to have paid all of the judges to be at the polls on August 8.
But you can find the 10,500 without going over.
Well,
budget.
it's down to 7,380. Is that the one that was uploaded? So because of taking off the
Transport case.
transport cases, that removed $3,240. So what you should have seen was an estimate of $7,380.
There is money in other areas of the auditor's budget to cover this.
Okay.
The buyback was a little disappointing, $25.
Well, and now because we're keeping our cases, it's only $20.
Oh,
$20 per iPad, and the only thing that you can use those for is registration of voters.
I'm just watching the budget pretty closely because I want to see next year's not increase a whole lot. I mean, David gave a figure and I'm kind of along with that one too.
Well, and this
So
is,
watching lines closely.
yep, and so 130 times 24 is considerable savings.
Okay.
And, you know, another 3,240 by just doing those cases ourselves. I mean, that'll take considerable time, but it's an indirect cost, which is not really seen.
Well, how expensive is it to go back to paper? And
Well, it would
it's
save
probably
us
a wash.
$7,380. It would save me a lot of time because it is considerable amount of time building each election in these. But I think with the way the election judges in those precincts have voiced their approval of using them and the way that it helps them move the voters through those precincts on that election day is worth it.
Otherwise, you gotta have that big binder that you had out there before, right, that they page.
Well, and we still have to have that as a backup plan,
Yeah, okay.
but it does help them to move the voters through, especially in those larger precincts.
Okay, any more questions?
I'll move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
passes. Next, we gotta set a date for a public hearing.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'm just going to handle this one. And the question, typically, we would do this, we pick the date. We've got the time at 9:30, and the only question I would ask is if you think that this is one you want to hold in the evening, or if you think we'll have sufficient response or input if we hold it during a regular meeting.
Personally, it's kind of a unique, we haven't had something like this, cannabis come before us before. But when I've seen these other public hearings, we don't get a lot of public coming. The last one we had in the evening, did anybody show up?
Capital improvement on oh, Sioux soda.
Well, pardon me.
Well, I think the public needs to also understand what this ordinance would cover, because I already had a call, are you gonna be able to, how much am I gonna be able to grow, and all, this ordinance doesn't cover any of that. A lot of that is state regulated, so people even that come and share public comment need to understand we're very limited to what we can do.
Yep, I believe the county attorney would kind of recognize this ordinance as being largely administrative, filling in the gaps that the statute allows us to do. So, our recommendation is 9:30 on September 5th, but I wanted to voice the question to see if any of you had heard from anybody that you'd like to pick a different time.
Okay, thank you.
I've heard from one person, but this person is retired and can easily do the daytime one at 9:30.
You know, I would be supportive of that just because there's really not a lot of substance in this ordinance. You
There
know,
isn't.
it's pretty much common sense, restricting it public use in public spaces.
Yep, it's
That's
not
about
about
it.
licensing, it's not about growing, it's not about selling, it's just strictly personal use in public spaces. Do you need a motion?
We need a motion to set the date and time.
For September 5th at 9:30.
I'll second. Gotta slip one in there. Okay, any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, we got that set. And administrator.
So the next three are just the final documents of a long process whereby we've created the ordinance that establishes a housing trust fund. We've agreed to do the interfund loan. We've agreed to the development agreement. And all of these things are just the final pieces in the puzzle. The school district And the city have already signed off on the final agreements. Everybody's already signed off on the abatement funding this portion of this project. I had one question this morning that I'll recognize right up front is the policy states that no funds are dispersed without an application. And we don't have an application from HLDC for the $1,032,000. The loan agreement that's part of the development agreement, I would say is the application and then some relative to that. So that's the formal, if you're accepting that mortgage and the development agreement, that's the application in this case. So long, complicated process. We're there. We've got the funds to do this now, and these are the three items that we need to pass in order to actually fund that. From a procedural standpoint, the money from this and the primary mortgage from Northwoods Bank will be made available, and Harbor County Abstract will be receiving the disbursement requests. They'll be authorizing them, approving them, and they're doing that relative to documenting the progress relative to the mortgage on that property. So they're handling all of that. Kay's office is working to make sure that we'll move the funds into a spot where they're available for that. The $1,032,000 is used first, and then the construction loan from Northwoods is used second. And then at the end of the construction, that'll all be turned into a single mortgage against the property. So that's generally the pieces that are doing here, in movement here. And again, these are the last documents that we need to sign relative to this, with the exception of we made an allocation of another $300,000 and $101 from the state money that will go into the Housing Trust Fund. HLDC still needs to submit an application for those funds to close the gap on the interest changes in the project. That'll come later. We don't need those funds today or tomorrow. We'll bring it in September.
Yeah, I have one question on that. On the from the county economic development account funds, that's $300,000, and then Housing Trust Fund has another $300,000.
Yes.
So is that what you just now talked about?
That's what I just talked about. Last year, we set aside that money for that purpose, and then about 2 meetings ago, we set aside another $300,000 that we'll use as match to get that 225, but that second 300 was the interest portion, the additional contribution the county agreed to.
And they're bank financing that they get the money as they need it during construction?
They will draw off that as a construction loan as they need it after this $1,032,000 is spent.
Just someone who has
Yep.
had a small business of my own, I always look at the figures at the end. Because, they'll be financing in the neighborhood of $5 million. And, if interest rates keep going up, they're taking in, from the estimates from January, they'll be taking in $51,000 a month. Interest alone could be as much as $25,000 a month on $5 million. So it's going to be kind of tight for them.
Well, the rates are locked.
Okay, they've got the construction loan rates locked already?
The mortgage is already closed with a rate not to exceed, so that's not gonna change. It's a rate not to exceed, and it could be adjusted down if over the course of the loan, there's a better interest rate available. So it's not a variable, it's a not to exceed rate on the primary, it's a straight rate on the secondary loan from the Housing Trust Fund. So no, the interest charges are known on this project going through the duration. The only thing they could do is come down. Northwoods was really good to work with. I think you'll remember they actually took that property in as a bank foreclosure and sold it to HLDC for the purpose of developing housing.
Yep.
So this has been, and that was one of the first actions that happened when I got here was that Northwoods sold that property to HLDC for the development of housing.
Well, just looking at it right now, it looks like they'll need full occupancy with everybody paying their rent
Yeah.
for us to really have
Yep.
a good go at it.
Yep, and the 2 apartments that are currently there are running at that 95%. I mean, the only reason that there's any shortcomings is that there's people coming and going. So whenever you look, there's always some opening and some
Yeah,
movement.
right.
But I think the anticipated pro forma is 88 to 90% occupied. And I think we've budgeted for that to happen within the first 12 months, although I think it'll happen quicker than that.
Plus, there's still some opportunity to make minor adjustments in rental rates too,
Yep.
besides what was proposed.
Yeah, this is,
And there may be some value engineering that can be done yet too.
And the intent and the annual operating, once that is leased up, is that any amount in excess of depreciation and capital set aside goes back into the housing trust fund. So that complex is intended to add value to the housing trust fund for future housing projects and needs in the county.
By the time we start promoting that apartment complex, I wouldn't be surprised if some rental rates, they've been kind of going up pretty much everywhere, just because of inflation and stuff, so there probably will be adjustments there.
So that's kind of an explanation of where we are. Like I said, these are the final steps, and we need to authorize them in this order because we have to approve the policy, then we have to approve the interfund loan, and then we have to approve the development agreement and the mortgage of that interfund loaned amount. So I really would be asking for 3 consecutive motions.
are there any more questions? Well, then we got 3 different motions to make.
Mr. Chair, I was just looking, I can't remember, one of them, it doesn't say Heartland Lakes Development Commission, it just says Heartland Development Commission. And of course, it not being on paper, I don't know how to make a note where it was.
I can show you how to do it. That's what I got in the notes on mine.
Thank you.
On which,
That's the thing, I don't remember if it was I think it was one of the first ones, the Housing Trust Fund portion of it.
we will review and administratively make that change.
Okay. Because it was,
We've had a bunch of eyes on this document. The recorder's office has looked at it, Denise has run through it twice. Kennedy and Graven, the bond attorneys, developed this for us.
We
HLDs.
just read what we.
And you see what you see, right? Yeah, I could,
well, I knew what you guys were talking about, but I was like, okay, that doesn't, it was just missing the lakes part.
yep, we'll identify that before we have final signatures.
Okay, that's all I saw.
I guess I just want to say I don't have a lot of the background information that all of the other commissioners have had, so I would like to abstain from voting on this. Not that I don't support the idea, the concept and everything, I just don't feel I have enough information to make a good informed decision at this point.
All right, let's start with the first one. Do we have,
I'll move to approve the policy as amended.
number 12A, that one? Okay,
I'll second.
all right. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's a 4-0 for your record, with 1 abstain.
Yep, if that's what you want to record, yes.
Okay, 12B,
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. I did find the error.
Which,
It would be on page 155, first paragraph. Keep going. Oops. Yeah, right here, first paragraph, right after Park Rapids Area Schools.
Yep.
Then it says, and Heartland Development Commission.
yep, thank you.
so your motion is with that in correction?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a second?
We have, Shar made a motion, Ted made a second.
Okay, okay.
12B, yep.
You're, okay,
Char's motion, Ted second, I think.
so your motion is
Yeah, with the
adjusted
correction.
with that
Yep.
correction, and yours
Sure.
seconded? Okay, now we got it. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And one abstain. Then 12C.
I'll move to approve with the understanding that it also serves as the application.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? None. One abstain. Okay. Completes that.
Thank you. And then the last item I have is a conversation about commissioner assignments now that we have a full 5 again. And what you have in your packet is the current committee list. What I have is a copy from January of 2022 that has a 5th commissioner spot carved out in it, and I think you're all aware of that. So from one standpoint, I'm assuming that our new commissioner is gonna largely take that book of business from that committee list, but I don't know how you wanna proceed, Mr. Chair. Just, you wanna run through the list and identify those, or have a general conversation? Or do you just wanna know that now that we have this information, you know, we don't have to make a decision on this today, but we should soon. I don't know if Commissioner Karen has had a chance to review all of this.
Yes, I have. I've gone through the list and
Okay,
and
I know
thought
several
about
of
some
you have had
things.
conversations about it, so, whatever you'd like to do to proceed.
Okay, let's go through the list and discuss. You know, there are a number of places where it says vacant commissioner, and are you aware of each of those?
Yes, yes, I am. I went through not only the older list that Jeff had, and then I have the newest list that was on the county website. I don't have a problem with many of the committee assignments. I do have some areas of interest that I would like to perhaps either be an alternate, or I would like to attend those committee meetings just to gain more information and to perhaps have some input. And that would, the most important one to me was the Parks and Recreation. And then I know the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, it's vacant. That is a position I would certainly take. I did have some question about, it was, well, the Department of Natural Resource Trails Committee, I would like to be on that one as well, if at all possible. Extension, that is fine. I have an interest there. Some of these might be a challenge for me to make the scheduling work for me, but I will do my best to participate and attend anything that's scheduled.
Mr. Chair, can we go, in a sense, start maybe at the beginning? The first committees are Hubbard County committees. I see that Steve is not on any of the, labor negotiations, general government, personnel committee, public safety and transportation. Like I say, Steve's not on any of those committees, so I think maybe we could, of course, Steve's background, public safety and transportation makes sense, I think.
Yeah, transportation would be a good one for you.
So that, these are the standing committees of the Board of Commissioners. The general government usually follows the board meeting on the 3rd Tuesday. Personnel follows the board meeting on the 1st Tuesday. And public safety and transportation has been on the 1st Friday of the month, although we keep running into challenges with that schedule. So that schedule is open for the committee to determine if that's a good time or if there's a better time to meet.
Would you like to take my place on transportation?
Yes, I certainly can, yes.
Okay, I'm willing to go off that one.
Is that possible then, if it works out for everybody involved? We don't have anything after the work sessions. I see some of the other ones meet after our board meetings. I mean, if that helps Steve's schedule.
We typically have that space reserved for a meeting, a standing meeting I have with the chair and the vice chair.
Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. So,
And we don't always meet, but we have been meeting recently. Yes, that does make sense. And again, all of these dates and times are really kind of, I heard Commissioner Kiernan saying that he's got, Tuesdays are free, so
Yeah.
I recognize that may be part of our scheduling direction.
okay.
So Steve's taking my place on public transportation. Okay.
So,
Moving
Mr.
on
Chair,
down.
thinking about this a little bit, I mean, we're only 4 or 5 months away from doing this all over again. You know, outside of the change you already mentioned, just maybe having Steve, if he's comfortable filling those vacancies for the remainder of the year where he can. And then we can really dive into this again at the beginning of the year when we kind of shake it up anyhow and make changes.
But at having 21 committees myself,
Yeah.
I would like to shed.
You're willing to shed some, I bet.
Oh, yeah, I noticed there's one that you shed that's not on here yet. I haven't been updated, and that is the Dancing Sky.
Yeah, Dancing Sky.
Yeah, so that needs to be changed, maybe right now. So I'm on that now.
That'd be the last page, I think it was.
Last page, okay.
Region 2 Area Agency on Council on Aging and Nutrition includes subgroup Land of the Dancing Sky.
So make that change right now.
So is there anything else on this page too? Just that change of public safety and transportation?
That's all I saw.
We want,
My desire is to fill the ones that are the most important at this point in time that are active and doing important work. It's the ancillary ones perhaps that can wait till, you know, the 4 months when reorganization happens again. And then the divvying up of duties can look at being changed. And maybe my schedule might change as far as work and everything. So whatever we can make work, I'm certainly willing to take the committees that were vacant without a problem. I just need to know scheduling, days, times, and that they meet and so forth. And is it by Zoom or is it in person? I'm a big in-person person, so to say. I don't like virtual meetings. I never have. And I am also a paper person. So if anything needs to be virtual, I'd like to know ahead of time so I can get things set up and kind of get myself prepared for it.
so on county committees, we're filling vacant under solid waste with Commissioner Kiernan.
And then the one below that, Transportation Advisory Committee. There again, if Steve's interested, it has to do with transportation, and that's kind of your expertise, I'm
Yes.
thinking.
Yep.
There's a couple of these that have the similar title. I don't know if, in my 4+ years as a commissioner, if this committee has ever met.
Okay.
So if it did, then somebody with experience would be on there, and I don't think it's gonna be eating up any of your time, because as I say, I think this is the one that I haven't met at all in the last 4+ years.
Yeah, that works for me. Not a problem there.
Thank you.
That lightens your load just a little bit. Takes one more tick off of your list to do, I guess, but.
Yeah, how did you get so many? I thought when we divided it up pretty evenly when it first started.
Let's see, that year, that day, I wasn't, that would have been December before we got sworn in. I wasn't at that meeting, so I think Cal,
Imagine that.
That's what you get, huh?
So under AMC Transportation, then Steve, that would be something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as a delegate, and AMC Indian Affairs really doesn't require a designee.
Right.
You're all invited to that one.
Right.
If somebody wants to be a designee, we can list that. It gets listed in the book, but it's not going to be published between now and December.
I guess I would be interested but if anybody else, I know it's one of those things too with the AMC Indian Affairs. I think that's a recent ad, the last year or two, and I think they've only met a handful of times, if that, and I know I've been invited to some of them.
I think it's been in existence 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it's
They-
been in existence as long as I've been on the
They
board.
typically meet on the front end of the other scheduled AMC meetings.
Okay,
Yeah.
They probably typically also meet at the same time that Minnesota Rural Counties meets.
Yes,
Oh.
they do.
okay, okay.
So,
Vacant ones, anything else?
Not on that page.
Okay, what page you on now?
So I'm on the next page, still, Hubbard County Committee, page 5. Char's been gracious and offered me HRA a few weeks ago. It's something that I've been interested in for a long time, so I really appreciate the offer. And I don't know if I was kind of looking at some of my committees that I could give her in exchange. There's a criminal justice workshop that's kind of just gotten going again. David and I are on that. And I guess just to back up a little bit, after 4+ years, you start to build these rapports and stuff, and I really don't want to get rid of anything. But I feel it's fair, to be fair, and I don't know if Shar is interested in this kind of stuff, but the criminal justice workshop, that's one where David and I, like I say, the drug court thing I know has been part of the topic. I don't know if that's something that you're interested in.
That might fit well with HIP. I had texted you about HIP. That meets on Wednesdays. And if that's not a real area of interest for you, I would like to keep that because I really like.
Okay,
and
that's
part
fine.
of my passion is there. When does the criminal justice work group meet?
It's been
Random kind of,
random.
yeah.
it's,
It just kind of started.
honestly, it's been relatively random, and I just had a conversation with Mark about it. And I said, rather than carving out this special meeting that creates a special time for this group, kind of in a special interest, I said, can we meet as part of the general government? Because that's a standing committee.
Okay.
And so I don't,
So this will just kind of go away.
this one will just really go away, and these topics will be taken up at general government, because it doesn't help for the 4 of us to meet without having Corey there, without having attorney's office there, without having, if we're gonna put something on the agenda at the general government meeting, we'll make sure that we invite everybody that needs to be there to be part of that conversation. If we get to the point of walking through a process and we put a task group together to do it, that would make sense. But right now, just meeting with the 4 of us, and rehashing the same things without having the other people involved has not really been helpful. And I had this conversation with Mark last week, and he agreed.
Okay.
And he'll be available on those times if we schedule them in advance during that general government time.
Okay, so I'll make a notation, it goes to general government.
I have a passion for riding bikes. I really like being on trails. Do you care if you're on it, Tom? If Steve said he would like to be on it?
That's,
But it goes with parks.
I'd like to be in the parks too. Just, it kind of goes along with my education and experience.
Yep.
Plus, I've been on it for 4.5 years now. So I'm, kind of like Ted said, building a rapport
Yeah.
with the people, and you got an interest in it, I'd like to maintain that.
We got extension is highlighted, it's got vacant commissioner. But currently David and I are on it. And there was one thing, because of maybe Steve's schedule, I was thinking this is one of those meetings that's after hours, and if Steve would be interested in extension, it's quarterly, so 4 times a year. It's a University of Minnesota extension. You'd think because of its extension, it would have to do a lot with agricultural, but it doesn't in a sense. I mean, more like with 4-H and SNAP, supplemental nutrition program, whatever those acronyms all mean.
It'd be an easy one for you to shed too. Is
Yeah.
that what you're thinking?
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. So,
No, that's fine.
Okay.
That's acceptable. Yeah.
thank you.
So Commissioner Karen with Commissioner Delahunt as alternate, or vice versa?
Well,
You both actually attend that one.
Yeah, in a sense, I could become the alternate, or
Is there
if,
supposed to be two or just one?
I don't think there's supposed to be two.
because it's always been, Dave, or Dan and I would meet almost all the time, both of us there. And then when it got to be, you know, only me, then
I can't recall if there's,
Do we just name two and drop alternate?
I think that
Well, you
works.
can't
And I'll-
all three go to one meeting.
Right.
That's true,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll contact Lisa and confirm what it is that she's, if it's two named, that means you would both attend.
So then, and then Ted, when I look at the fair board, because you're giving up extension, would you want Steve then to go to the fair board?
I've never been to a fair board meeting.
Okay, yeah, because you're the alternate. Yeah, I haven't been to some of mine either that I'm alternate on, yeah.
I'm fine staying there, cause I know the history of
Yep.
the whole thing, even though I don't attend a lot of the meetings, maybe 2 or 3 a year. But yeah, if Steve wanted to be the alternate,
Yeah, I could do that. Sure, that's on the
you
third
don't have to
Tuesdays.
attend a ton of them, but,
Yep.
you know, if you could attend 3 or 4 a year at the right times,
And then next on the list there is HRDC Transportation Advisory Committee. And it meets 4 to 6 times per year. This is one of those I thought about Steve, but I also thought about Shar.
So, what do they do?
it's the Heartland Express stuff, isn't it, and the grant and.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the state of Minnesota is usually there. Some of the area highway engineers are there. They usually go over what projects are happening in the region.
So then I would defer to Steve. If it was ridership, because Prime West is actually going down that road, I would take it, but it sounds like it's Steve's area.
Okay. Well, then, with the one earlier where I had Transportation Advisory Committee, that's in connection with social services.
Yeah, and you know what, I'll take that even though you've never met, because Prime West, we're running into a problem with MnDOT
Okay.
and how ridership, they're not allowing, if I go pick up somebody, I can't cross county lines, and so they're having trouble getting people to their appointments. We
Okay.
just talked about this at the last Prime West meeting.
So instead of Steve, we'll put Shar on the Transportation Advisory Committee that's.
And I'll plan to never meet.
I would plan to actually have meetings.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Brian about it.
Okay.
Because he's also involved in Prime West this year, because he's the leadership for, the social services, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And then, of course, on the bottom of page 5, the HRA, once again, I want to thank Shar for being so generous. And I know that if I have questions, I'm always going to be able to call for her advice, so I appreciate that.
So Ted's on HRA? Okay.
And then, of course, we go down to Mississippi Headwaters Board is the next one that has a vacant commissioner. This is one I thought would have been perfect for Shar, but you also have Mojave Atwa
Oh, it's on Fridays.
at the same time.
Yeah.
Did we already make a determination on outward intervention?
Yes, I'm gonna be on that.
Okay.
And then Steve can be the alternate, like I say, on the Mississippi Headwaters Board. And there again, it would only be if I wasn't available. Of course, you're in Cass County, aren't you?
Yes.
Closer.
Yeah. Do you want to give the opening address to the biennial conference?
Probably not quite yet. I'm sure I could come up with a couple good jokes maybe, but that's about it.
So we'll put you as the alternate, though?
Yeah, that's fine, since it's the vacant one, yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
And then there again, North Country Community Health Board, the vacant, I could put you down.
yep,
And this is one where we met in Bemidji, and then when COVID came, it was Zoom, And then when things opened up, the state still didn't allow in-person meetings, so then we were meeting in Crookston, or no, Bagley. But now we're back in Bemidji, so.
And that meets the fourth Wednesday of the month?
Yep.
Or the quarter?
For the quarterly, yep. Something like that work for you?
Well, that's the fourth Wednesday is the HIP meeting.
Oh,
What time does that one meet?
this is usually 11,
Yeah, see, we meet over the lunch hour for HIP, so, okay.
and it's that board and the advisory board, one right next to each other. It's like the advisory board meets first, and then the regular board meets right after it, so it's one meeting right after another. And yeah, like I say, I think it's like 11:30, and then through the lunch hour, so. But we'll have Steve as the alternate. And then same thing with community health,
Yes.
or no, excuse me.
Be the
Oh, then the next
Healthy
one.
Hubbard County.
Healthy Hubbard County.
Yep.
And this is one I didn't know if Shar would be interested in.
When do they meet?
It's usually Thursdays. Let's see. Of course, now I don't see it here. And it's quarterly. And I just had one not that long ago. There we go, yeah, Wednesdays at 10 o'clock
And
at CHI. here.
which Wednesday is it?
It's usually the second Wednesday of the month.
Yeah, I could do that, but if Steve wants to do if you want to be the head commissioner and I just be the vacant, or the alternate one, because only one goes, right?
That's a Healthy Hubbard County.
Yeah.
Keep in mind while you do this, that you're vice chair, if you're chair next year, you automatically are
yeah.
gonna get some more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if Steve can be the, and I can be the alternate,
All right.
yeah, that's fine.
Next page.
And I have to be careful what I'm getting myself into.
It takes more time than you can imagine.
Oh,
You
I-
probably thought.
Where?
And here again, Northwest Juvenile Center, we are a founding member, so they would prefer that 2 commissioners be there. It meets every other month. I'm on the executive committee, so I meet every month on this one. It's normally Thursdays on 10, usually the third Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock. I didn't know if, I could stay on the board, but there's a vacancy there. So I didn't know if Shar wanted it or if Steve wanted it.
Steve, and he needs more committee, I have plenty.
Okay.
One watershed, one plan. We had just recently created the Crow Wing River one, and that's the one that I would want to be on. I've been on the Leech Lake one. That would be a good one for me to get off, so I can concentrate on the Crow Wing River.
And it's in Steve's district.
Yeah, Steve, would you be interested in that?
Yes.
Okay. And they do have a meeting coming up.
Okay.
Let me give you the date. It's gonna be, October, I think it is, but it's already scheduled. I can give you that date. If I can find it. Well, I'll have to, maybe I did. Oh, there it is. It's in September 20th, actually. Yep, September 20th, 10 o'clock at the Cass County Courthouse. But, we'll have to get your name in there, so they'll send you the information.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeff can let You'll let people know?
Denise will be
Denise.
happy to make the connections, and Steve, make sure that you get on the mailing lists, and it'll take a couple of weeks to get all that done with all these contacts, but
So, I don't know, Steve, if you're interested in the Prime Health Joint Powers Board, I pretty much X out every Thursday. First Thursday of the month, I'm always there. I chair the Finance Committee. Alternates are welcome to come in person or Zoom, or they don't have to be. But if you want to be an alternate, it would be important to at least attend a couple meetings, and I would help you get up to speed, but basically it's county-owned.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
It's
yeah,
for
because
managed
of your
care.
wife, you,
It's
yeah, you
managed
have an
care.
idea,
Yep.
yeah. So if that's, either you can be on it or else we have to name another alternate, because we do need an alternate.
I'll be the alternate.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's always the first Thursday of the month, except for July and December. I don't think we have a meeting, I don't remember for sure, but we don't have one in July.
Then the last one, Commissioner Vacant, towards zero death.
Do they meet?
That's, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think when we asked Corey about that, I think he made the comment that they don't normally
It was
meet.
very seldom he indicated that they met. I would imagine it's more if there's some topic that is important, that they will have another meeting, so I'm fine with filling that position.
And did you get the update on the area, Region 2 area council agent?
did we get that note? Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and I'm the alternate, I've never gone to a meeting, but sometimes that crosses over with my hubby, and I've written letters of what's going on to representatives about what's going on at Dancy Sky, I found out through my hubby.
Oh, Denise, need to update the per diem form with the Crow Wing River on it. It's not there yet.
Thank you.
Yep. I just been putting other and then
And then
writing it in, yeah. Well, that completes it then. Okay.
We'll update it, distribute it, make sure that we've got, compare notes and got everything correct, but this is always changing, but I think
Yeah.
I think we got these notes.
Denise,
I can-
oh, go ahead, Steve.
No, if I can just get a list for myself and an updated day and time frame, so that I can do my scheduling on my end. That would
Denise,
be
I know who to
fantastic.
contact at Prime West, so I'll just give them Steve's.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Does that require a motion or is it just?
We should at some point have a motion to amend the committee list, because that's what we pay per diems and expenses
Yeah.
off of.
Yeah, that's right. Are we ready to make a motion?
I guess, I'll make a motion.
Or do you want to see the end result first?
I've made all the notes in that, so,
We can adjust it again if we need to.
Oh, yeah, okay.
so I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. Move on to committee list. Or reports?
I can start off if,
Go ahead.
okay. I thought about it just now, was like, I didn't prepare for committee reports for today, and looking at my schedule, am I in another universe or something? Because I didn't have any meetings this month.
Wow.
Wow, it's been
Yeah.
You
quiet.
usually have the longest
Yeah,
report.
I had canvassing board. We had the canvassing board last Friday, and Steve Karen was the top vote getter.
How do you pronounce your last name correctly? Karanen?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I don't have any committee reports.
Let's see, I've got SWCD. One of the things they have, they're requesting, yeah, September work session. Christopher already got with you on that? Okay, yeah, they want to have a little slot in there for the work session in September. And then the other item is they're planning an Area 8 fall tour, and I would go on it. And they would like to include Deep Lake Park as one of their stops. They asked me if I want to be a presenter on it, and I said I could, but I also wonder if Corey Kimball would be interested in doing that along with me. So we'll have to work that out with him and come up with how we'll share what's going to be said on it.
I think you can coordinate that directly with him.
Okay, I'll do that. Is he aware of it yet?
I think so.
Okay, all right, I'll take that on then. Dancing with Sky Council on Aging, we had a grants award meeting last week, and that meeting went on really long, because we had to make cuts in our grants.
How much did you have to cut?
It was up there around $1 million, and we're down to 800,000 that was awarded. So that meeting went on from 10 to about 3:30.
Did you end up cutting food distribution? Because I know that was a concern.
Some places, there's a couple of new applications that wanted to do that. We cut their request because they came in way too high. It was obvious they didn't have the experience in how to do it. So we gave an amount so they'd have something, and then the following year, after they have some numbers, they could maybe come in for more. Yeah, food distribution was a really important one. There was a really good one. That's I forget what county that was, but might have been Monoman. But yeah, it's a good program. He brings food out to people. It's more than just that. He brings it in for them and helps them with the orders.
Kind of like Meals on Wheels.
Yeah. Park Rapids Living at Home, we approved theirs, I think, just about what they requested. Mojave, we approved, I don't think the full amount, but for their home chores, homemaker, and home modifications. They have a pretty good program for that, and they've experienced at it. So
Yeah, they're giving cooking classes.
yeah,
People
that's
know how to
part of the
cook.
homemaker modification, yeah. So they'll be getting a grant for that. And that's about all I have.
Well, I had Action Park Rapids, and I'm just gonna give you a synopsis. There's so many things you learn there. The Heartland Trail, the tunnel is being installed in August, and a ribbon cutting ceremony is to be determined. Park Rapids Gymnastics has gotten permission from the Park Rapids School to use 12,000 to 15,000 square feet on their building site to put up a gymnastics center, so they're gonna be starting fundraising for that. Shell River Alliance is focusing on getting landowners on water quality issues. CHI St. Joseph has got a $20,000 grant split up for mental health, community center, etc. You need to be a nonprofit to apply. You can apply by November, and it's awarded in January. The poverty simulation's gonna be at CHI on September 14th from 1 to 4, and boy, if you guys wanna have probably an eye-opener on poverty, I would really encourage you to go. That blew me away when I took it. And then the Food Angels program is still going on, and that's providing food for school-aged children. I reported on Heritage, signing with Knut Nelson with the election with Steve for the budgeting process, and then the ordinance for marijuana. Heartland Pinecrest broke ground looking at ways to impact childcare and address employee shortages. League of Women Voters, they had a form for the special election for the primary only. They're planning for 2024. They would be happy to come and share on voting changes to any organization that asks, and they're trying to figure out how to work up guidance on how to have civil conversations, since that isn't happening very well in our society anymore. Park Rapids Lions, September 2nd, they have a diaper drive outside of Colburn's for the Park Rapids Pregnancy Center, and they also are giving food packing events, or doing food packing events. Solid Waste Christina Hill just touched on the legends on logging, and then I updated that part-time position that we approved for that. Living at Home, on 10/6, Dr. Terry Barkley is going to be here for an all-day conference on dementia. The caregiver closet is open 2 days a week. It has 2 storage units, and they're giving out all kinds of stuff to the community that needs. They have incontinent products to give out by the caseloads, and she said they have a lot of them, but they're going out a lot to the community. Senior coffees Wednesday 9 through 11, and they just hired they're in the process of hiring a person to build a community calendar they have a grant that lasts 7 months. And then something I did not know about, the Diners Club. You can go to or you can go, you can buy a food ticket for $5, and then you can go to the Great Northern and eat their meal there. And you get a $5 meal, so it's the same things offered on the menu, but a smaller portion. It's not income dependent, and it provides nutrition plus socialization. They're currently looking for a place. There was a bank that was selling it, and it required too much time, so they're looking for somewhere else for the tickets to sell. But I could go in there and buy, $50 worth and give them to people that I see that would need nutrition and socialization. I thought it was a really great idea. Never heard of it. Rotary's having a membership drive on September 6th. They're having a barbecue at 5 p.m. at Heartland Park. They were short $20,000 from the fireworks, this last fireworks. So they're trying to do a fundraiser for that, and they have a golf benefit. The Essentia Clinic Care Facility, that's what I was talking to Corey about. And so I'll connect with this person and Joe to see if they're in the jail. CHI, Community Health, and SHIP, Statewide Partnership in Health, is going to work to create health benefits. So healthy eating and activity, and then there's 3 more, and they talked so fast I didn't get the other 3 down, but they're working together for community health. The Heartland Arts Council has 16 organizations in it. For HIP, August 1st, THC became legal for a person in Minnesota to possess. Licensing in 16 areas will supposedly become available on January 1st of 2025 through the state. Next May 10th, Jermaine, who is a former policeman that travels around the United States, he's been doing webinars, and that's where I've gotten my information on the new laws in Minnesota. He's going to be here next May 10th. And HIP just started Coffee Talks, which is 10 to 11, the second Tuesday of the month, which I'm disappointed because I can never go. But they're talking, let's see, I didn't write down the months they were, but they're going to do suicide prevention, cancer. I don't remember the third one. But anyway, they have October, November, December. Extension, there's a leadership session coming up in a 5-day series. The fair went well. The Park Rapids Chamber talked about legends and loggings. Park Rapids Library, they're trying to do an assessment for areas of interest. Summer reading program was really successful. They raised over $4,000 in their book sales, and they have a craft swap coming up on October 19th. Something else I didn't know, they have 4 hot spots that can be checked out, and the person can have them for 2 weeks. So then does the library then pay the fee to Verizon or wherever for the hot spots? Oh, that's really a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good program.
Yep, and a lot of people are meeting there now for Zoom meetings. Family Safety Network has seen 5 or 6 times increase over it was last 5 years. Northwest Minnesota has grant funds up to $5,000 until September 1st. COLA is seeking a grant application for the Hubbard County Lakes. And then Mojave had an open house for Kids Plus, which I went. That's in the old Beds Plus building, and they just got the building remodeled. It's right next to Mojave. It was pretty impressive. It looks really nice. If they are full there, they will have room for 34 children. They're partnering with Park Rapids High School for CDA classes for childcare, and they've received their money for housing, a large sum from the state, and they're taking applications now for the energy assistance. So all that was covered in an hour and a half. So it's a wonderful place to find out information on how the community can work together, and that's all I have.
Oh, go ahead.
relative.
You brought up the library, I just thought of, I did have one quick meeting, well, actually, it wasn't quick, it took about an hour, with Melissa and Tim Hool, administrator from Crow Wing County.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to start our September meeting off with a 1-hour training session for training people how to do evaluations, board members.
Oh.
Because we're going to start doing evaluations by the full board instead of, before it was the chair and one person from the policy, or the personnel committee. And, I'm the chair now. I didn't want it just to be me and one other person doing it. So we're gonna have a full board, but can have a little training on doing it first. And Tim is really good at giving
Good.
that kind of training. In fact, that's right up his alley. I think he's got a PhD in doing those kind of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to the ribbon cutting for the bridge or the
Yeah,
tunnel.
For the tunnel?
I haven't found a date yet. I'd like to be there because it's in my district. And I don't know if other commissioners, Tom being on the park.
Yeah,
Trails.
Yeah, we're on trails,
Yeah.
so we'll be there.
Okay, so there'll be 3 of us at the ribbon cutting, if,
We just don't talk to each other.
Yeah. We don't have a date yet.
We don't have a date.
Yeah.
so.
yeah, and if the date and time works for me, but I'd like to be there.
Of course, they come up, because they're gonna do this soon if they have it.
Yeah.
If they have it the last half of August, which is soon, I'll be gone, so. When we get to committee or meetings to know it, I'll say a couple of things on that.
Were you
David?
gonna say something?
No, when I'm ready. All right.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Action Park Rec. You had a comment. Okay. Okay.
Your turn.
Ready? I didn't have much going on. I was kind of quiet last couple of weeks, but just a few things anyhow. I've been getting quite a few calls on weeds and ditch mowing and things like that. So, I'm aware of, in my conversations with the chair of Henrietta Township, that the problem with the ditch cutting is there's really only one contractor that's doing it. So everything's getting really delayed. So that's kind of a problem. The spotted knapweed is flowering already and it's getting bad. And of course you can control it by cutting it in time, but otherwise you have to spray for it. And spraying, of course, is stretched too. I mean, that's something we're gonna have to look at maybe and work with Jed on to see if we can figure out how to get through a more consistent rotation with spraying.
Yeah.
Because the townships are frustrated.
They're frustrated.
Yes.
And, I think Greg's probably got so much on his plate with the addition of more work in Parks and Rec and things like that. He's probably stretched too. So we're gonna have to take a look at that
Wow.
and try and do a better job.
I had a friend from White Oak Township contact me, and I told him that we're aware of the problem. Wasn't it somebody from the town board, White Oak Town Board, that at least sent me, I think sent us all the email on it? And I talked with Jed, and I used to be in Schoolcraft Township was the weed inspector, and I had to go around and I spot sprayed stuff, or if there was just a single purple knapweed or something, I would pull it myself, type of thing. And they were wondering about who in the area did the spraying, which I suggested Prairie Lakes here in Park Rapids, I think maybe do the kind of a co-op, I think, do. I know the Bemidji co-op does it at the north end and in Beltrami County and stuff, but
Do
So a
they
lot
have
of-
One question for you. Do they have roots like quackgrass, so when you pull it, it actually spurs new growth?
yeah, it spreads by its roots, the
Yeah.
rhizomes or whatever they call them,
Yeah.
and then the seeds also. So yeah, you want to get the whole root and everything.
So if you pull it, you gotta get the whole tap roots out,
Yeah.
or it'll just come back fast.
It's one of those things, before I became knowledgeable in that stuff, I was just an ignorant, happy, ignorant person. Well, look at the purple flowers and all that, And now when you see it, it's like, oh,
Oh, it's everywhere once you notice it,
Yep.
it's like
you
it's
can't
everywhere.
unsee it, yeah.
Is there something that'll kill that and doesn't kill grass at the same time?
Yes.
Well, isn't the big problem, I'm kinda guessing, cause I didn't know much about weeds anyhow, never interested me, but with it being in the county and township road ditches, I imagine it gets into the hay fields, and it's probably something you don't want in your hay.
I was walking through Heartland Park, and I could swear those little purple flat plants were knapweed. It sure looked like it.
You see it a lot on like the ATV trails because the ATVs
Sure,
spread
and then
it.
they spread it.
Yep, and then if you see a new road that's been gravelled, or say the ditches have been newly gravelled, a couple of years down the road, there'll be purple knapweed.
It's about this high?
Sometimes it can get that high, yeah.
It can be ground level too.
Yeah,
It just
some of them are
depends.
small.
It's all over the place. I know, as an example, Henrietta would contract with the county to do the spraying, and they've appropriated funding the last 3 years and have not been able to get it done.
Okay, yeah.
So we have to figure something out here.
There are contractors out there that spray. There's one out of, I think he's from Bagley area.
Okay.
I can't remember the name right offhand. They sprayed for our township last year. They did a good job and it was economical. It wasn't super expensive. We just handed them a map with identified roads and areas. And then I also know somebody by Akeley who does road ditch spraying as well. So I can give that information to Jed and he can
Yeah, I'll recommend
pass
that
that along.
so Mantrap did that?
Yeah.
Township, I'll
Yeah.
recommend that to Russ then to contact them, figure out who that was.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
start looking outside the county to do it.
Yeah, or if he wants to contact me too, that's fine. I think I have that information somewhere in my emails, so.
Great. And Heritage Executive Board met. So far, the transition is going well to the new management company, so still a ton of work to be done there. Heartland Lakes Development Commission, we had, some of you made the groundbreaking ceremony, went well, and construction's underway, so that's going. And then I participated in Loggy Days and judged the ribs and chicken and stuff, so you had to roll me home when I got done. Pretty good. Good event.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, meetings to note. I'm gonna be gone from September 18th, August 18th through September 2nd. So we have a department head meeting at the end of the month.
Yep, so I'm going, and Steve, that would be a good one for you to attend on the 29th
29th?
at 9 o'clock here. So once a month, all the department heads meet with Jeff, and then the board chair goes, and then we rotate the rest of us.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm going in.
So there's room for you to be there.
okay, the 29th.
Yeah.
And then also, oh, go
It's my
ahead.
anniversary day.
Oh, okay. All right. The good thing I checked my email because I was gonna mention to David, who's the alternate for the Crow Wingwater, said one plan a policy committee meeting, but they said just got notice that they canceled it for August, so off the hook there.
When is it?
It's just not gonna have a meeting now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're okay. Yep. Anything else?
Yes, I have something, what I told you at the beginning about the $18,000, I had emailed and copied people on. I'm just gonna read you at Mary Thompson wrote, because I was incorrect. The HLDC Heartland Lakes Development Commission received quarterly payments from the county for the approved contribution of $18,000 quarterly for a total of $72,000. That's funding for economic development. There's nothing we should need to repay the county for. The HRA receives payment from the levy typically paid in June and December. And she goes on to just give the formalities, so the county paying the HLDC was correct.
So you need to retract a motion, and was there a motion or something?
No, there wasn't, we
Okay.
just,
It was a
we just
discussion
approved the
item.
consent agenda, and I was just, yeah.
And Kay is aware.
Yeah, Kay's aware, she was copied on the email, so,
Perfect.
yep. Okay,
I thought, we looked over and I thought we did go and make an adjustment to, you wanna check your notes, make sure that's correct?
so the consent agenda, I don't think did I move?
There was just, you had just made a comment about it.
Yeah, I just made a comment, I didn't tie it into my
Okay,
motion.
all right, so we're good on it?
Yep.
All right. Okay, anything else?
I guess I do have one thing to report. Corey Kimball had met with the two individuals from the board that approves for the grants and whatnot. And then the person who had the plan and drew up Stewart was there. I attended as well in Deep Lake Park and just kind of walked around and toured the area a little bit, and they talked about it. So I was appreciative to got to see a little bit more of a developed plan. So I've got a better idea of what's happening. And apparently they have 22 that they're gonna review and consider for grant money this year, so it's pretty competitive.
Yeah,
So
hopefully one of them.
hopefully we come out on top, I guess, but.
Did they get you a copy of the concept plan, the map?
No,
of it?
no,
Okay.
he had it on the board, I just looked at it and we talked about it a little
That
bit,
would be a
but,
good one to,
but I was gonna sit down with Corey sometime when I have more opportunity and just spend some time looking at it and reviewing it, so, yeah.
okay, we have a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second?
Sure, I'll second.
Okay, and we'll adjourn.
Steve, is your email set up yet? Do you know?
No, it's not.
It's not set up.
It is.